Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high level best of 5 between in the bottom right spawning as our blue Terran player playing for Team Liquid. It's going to be Cure. And in the top left as our blue red Zerg player playing for Team Basilisk. He's Italian. He is cool. It is Reynor. Ooh, look at that. We have a Reaper out. Reapers are a little bit like mosquitoes. They're annoying when they're by themselves, but they're also annoying when they're with many. Although mosquitoes become easier to kill if there's many. Reapers are hard. Yeah, they're hard to kill when there's many. I freaking hate mosquitoes. Last night, I woken up by a mosquito again. We actually have one of these plugs that... This is the first plug in my life that has worked. Like... ever, but then I forget to plug it in before I go to bed. So I used to have these plugs that would like emit like a low buzzing noise or something that the human ear couldn't hear, which now that I think about it, the plug just probably didn't work and like there's no noise at all, and also it didn't seem to bother the mosquitoes at all. Like, you still get stung the entire time. As you see, actually Reaper's doing a crap ton of damage, holy cow. So I'd kind of given up on like these anti-mosquito plugs. But then I realized technology gets updated. And actually, there's some good anti-mosquito plugs. Now I have one that emits some smell, some perfume that the mosquitoes, they don't like, or they get drowsy from it or something. And then they piss off. And it actually works. If you turn it on half an hour before you go to bed or something, or an hour before you go to bed, this thing, it works like a freaking charm, man. It goes hard. These mosquitoes, they're nowhere near. I do wonder why it's not, you know, a threat to my health. Because that doesn't make any sense. If there's like chemicals in there that make the mosquito tired. I guess the mosquito's very small. But... and my farts have never stopped them from coming in either. And, you know, I find that bad already. So for them, that must be like serious chemical warfare. So, kind of have to actually Google to make sure that I'm not silently killing myself by plugging these things in. Like a little bit of perfume in there. I think it sprays it every now and again. And mosquitoes actually piss off. But last night, I forgot to turn it on. So a mosquito bothered me. Then it's like the middle of the night and you're too lazy to go kill him. But you know he'll wake you up again with his annoying noise. Mosquitoes wouldn't be half bad if they would just shut up while they're taking your blood. Like, holy cow. Just be quiet for once. It's not that hard. Terrible, like evolution really did them dirty. You know, the constant buzzing. It's not helping them. Not doing them any favors. Either way, we have, this was a 2-Rex Reaper. 3-Rex Reaper maybe. I think it was a 3-Rex Reaper actually. This is pretty serious pressure here. He killed 19 Lynx. Also managed to kill an Overlord. That must have been with the Marines. He lost 9 Reapers. In my expert opinion, this is a bad start here for Cure. This is not the damage that you need. But it's the damage he deserved by building Reapers. God, sorry, I'm still thinking about this stupid mosquito. He's such an idiot as well. Like, if you see the target wake up, you just piss back off onto some like dark surface where I can't see you unless I'm shining on you with my flashlight. I also don't have my glasses on to catch him, which is obviously very stupid. It's like, it's so easy for them to kind of dodge me, but yet they just keep making these dumb mistakes again and again. It truly is one of the weakest blood takers in the world. It's very, very poor at it. At least it's good at taking the blood, but it's bad at surviving after taking the blood. So this guy has terrible stats, bad characteristics. It would definitely be a tier 1 unit if it was in StarCraft 2, the freaking mosquito. They'd be annoying the entire game. Be a tier 1 unit. Okay, what's going on here? We have a 2-way push coming in out of Cure. Reynor seems to be blissfully unaware of that. I have a theory that sometimes it's good for Zerg players that they don't know that they're being 2-base all in, or that they're being 3-base all in. Because very often when they're being 2-base all in, they stop at a low drone count, and then they die over time. Well, very often if they stop at a high drone count, they either instantly die, or they hold and then they have very good eco. But the instantly dying is still better than dying over time because it feels less frustrating. So it's really a win-win scenario. both scenarios are better than the other scenario is. But here, Reynor's actually just gonna deal with it. He went up to 60 drones. He's like, oh, you have a lot of crap. Let me just kill it real fast. And he did just that, which is banging. Upgrades are now coming in as well for young Reynor. Does he have... Oh, he already has Baneling speed. And he's kicking off today. For real. 11 more Banes on the way as well. That's cool too. What else do we have on the map? We have a bunch of Marines. 31. We have 2 tanks. With a 3rd one on the way. Oh. It's gonna need a lot more Banes than this. So one of the key things that top level Zerg players do is that they run by or they counter attack whenever they see this type of push. Just pick off reinforcements the entire time. Then you get like these sick type of setups. Look at this. This is gonna actually be a banging setup. Ooh, this is not well synchronized, but yeah, the Banelings from the bottom here are gonna be banging as well. Oh, medevac with 7 Marines in it is gonna stay alive with just 6 HP. That is a very big deal. Losing that would have sucked, but even without losing that, it still sucks. It just would have sucked harder if this medevac also had gone down. Realistically, this game is fairly over already. We're not getting any more upgrades. There is no armory. Oh, there is an armory. There's just no second E-base, so it's going to be slow upgrades all the way around. It's now going to go up to 5 barracks. He's like, ooh, I don't feel like I'm all in enough quite yet. Let me spend my last 300 minerals into these 2 extra barracks as well, so I'm more all in. It's a good plan. These 2 barracks are going to build like 2 Marines total in this game. I can smell it already. As Banelings get connections on these 2 Marines. 2 Marines will die. It is 152 supply to 116. Reynor is already dreaming of a hive. And Cure is only dreaming of a white Christmas. And maybe getting some good tank shots. It's really difficult for me to see how Cure is planning on winning this game. I mean, I understand that he is planning on winning this game, but I'm not seeing a viable path to victory here whatsoever. He might actually not have a viable path to victory whatsoever. This path might be completely unviable. See how Reynor's gonna do it. He's just gonna flank from here. 360 surround basically. Look at this. This is just a beautiful fight. This is actually beautiful. This looks like one of these fights that you put in the trailer, you know? Squash your opponent's forces with 360 degree surrounds. It's like you put a screenshot on the box art. Back in the day when you still had boxes for games. Instead of just digital copies. Freaking boxes, man. Reading the game manual while you're on the toilet. Banging times. This medevac has managed to stay alive for a long time, but Hive is on the way, +2 carapace is on the way. Like, I am just not seeing a viable path to victory here. A path to victory. Not here. Hydra then coming in. I guess he wants to deal with these Liberators, which fair play to him, you know. I'd also want to deal with those Liberators, because they're going to be pretty frustrating to fight against. Lib count has continued to grow, which, kind of funnily enough, might make this almost playable. Like, if you just get like 7 Liberators and there's no serious anti-air, maybe you can do it. He has 5 Libs now. But then again, Hydras are starting. I guess we're gonna see Viper soon, the moment that this Hive finishes as well. The upgrades are continuing for Reynor, right? With +2 melee, +3... Is he gonna start +3 carapace? I'd reckon you want to spend your gas into other things first. And I'm talking about Vipers in that case, right? You really want to just work on Vipers. Oh, here comes an attack. The surround coming in from 2 sides. These Marines are just gonna run away. The surround didn't properly close. This actually was a really good fight for Cure. Surprisingly so. Liberators are now still alive. Army supplies are kind of even too. Do we still have tanks with this army though? No, we have 1 tank in the back that apparently Cure forgot about as well. Still just idling in that position. And a lot of these medevacs are completely out of energy. Actually, all of these medevacs are completely out of energy. And here comes the tank, here comes the flank. And here comes the Lib plus tank siege up. And I think this is actually just gonna be it. It was a nice attempt here, but that's all it's really ever going to be, a nice attempt. As these Liberators are being pushed back. It's 160 supply against 100. It is still, what, 4 bases, 5 bases versus just the 2. So even if a couple of bases end up mining out here, it's going to be banging for Reynor. It's not going to be bamboozled by a command center flying over to a new one and be like, oh, wait a second. I'm out of minerals here, but he isn't. Ooh, good target fire there on that low medevac, which also was the one that actually carried stuff. So yeah, GG gets called. Reynor wins game number 1. For the people that are counting along at home, that does mean that Reynor has now 1 point on the board and Cure has 0. The score is thus 1-0. So you have Reynor opening up with a hatch first. Gasless opener here, perhaps. Maybe with that Rich Vespine guys are kicking off soon. But 15 hatch into 15 overpool. There we go, look at that. Banging opener on this map. This is an opener we've seen a lot out of Zerg players on this particular map. And it can often go into like 2 base all-ins or 3 base all-ins. Or just into kind of a macro game. Like kind of a stunted macro game. Like a weird macro game. Because it's really hard to play proper macro games on this map on Dynasty. Either way, you have the barracks now popping off. It's going to be just a single Reaper this time. As opposed to the 9 that we saw in the last game. Set up, little buddy. There you go. Right on top of that crater. I love how we use like these little indicators for where the base belongs. But if I was an SCV, I'm not going to be freaking building a building right on top of this thing. That doesn't look like a very solid foundation at all. It's like, yeah, just go where the fire is coming out of the ground. Yeah, sounds fine. It's like, you see, you can smell the magma below the surface. Like there's already cracks showing. Holy crap. I would not want to be an SCV. They just plopped down a fat hatchery on it and the cracks plastered over with creep. Lovely to see. Alright, what do we have here? Double CC. There's no second gas, so it feels like triple CC. Reaper comes in. Ooh, might kill a drone. Might also not kill a drone though. Hard to say at times, you know. Drones stay alive. That's a fact. That is a fact for now. Queen's gonna come down. Ooh, drone. I feel like if Cure would have clicked that, it would have died. I think he had the range, but might have lost the Reaper as a result. Now we're gonna see a Roach Warren and 2 Overlords. This has been one of the more common builds that we've seen on this map. The reason why it's kind of okay to go for a Roach attack, let me explain to all of you, okay? Why is it good to go for Roach attacks on this map? Very simple. It's because Roaches, they can attack the wall, or Ravagers can clear the wall, while Roaches are denying mining on the gold. So, yes, you're only on 2 base, but your opponent is only going to be mining from a single base, which actually is kind of fine. So if we see like these early Roach pushes, something we should keep in mind. Instead, we're seeing a fast lair though. Now, this looks like a 2-gas opener, because there's only 2 gases, but this is a double gas, so really it's a 3-gas opener. Let's not forget about that. Is this going to be the Roach drop build? Huh. That would be quite something, wouldn't it? I love that build, but we're not seeing Overlord speed. Like a Roach drop with Queens. It's going to be Overlord speed. I think he forgot about it, though. It seems pretty late. Or maybe the Queen hadn't quite finished yet. I don't quite know how it works. Either way. Ooh, Roaches are now out. Will deny the scouting. But he didn't really deny the scouting, you know what I mean? You can't... Because the Roaches are the thing you want to scout. So you... It's not... Yeah. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So he's seen Roaches already. He knows most likely what's kicking off. There's going to be a 2 Queen, 2 Roach moving across the map, as well as 3 more Queens. So we're going to have a lot of Queens here, actually. 5 Queens, a bunch of Roaches, bunch of Ravagers. Worker count is in favor of Cure, who's now building a tank as well. Dude, he looks like he is confused. Like, this build, it just feels like the build of a confused man. You know what I mean? It's like 2 Cyclones, half a tank. Okay, here come the Ravagers. Ooh, one of them is just straight up gonna fall if Reynor decides not to micro. But he decides to micro. And thus they'll stay, one of them will stay alive. Oh, cute. Actually cute. Very cute. Could still jump over here as well if he wants to. What do we have behind it? We have a couple of these Of more drones being built. Third base as well coming in. You actually have creep spread. Ideally, you'd force a lift on this and then you creep spread from the back. And, you know, it might be something. Who knows? Might be something. Ravager count is banging as well over here. If we can get that bunker, that would be huge. He's gonna get the depot for sure. I mean, you can't mine from here very consistently, can you? Absolutely no way. Look at that. 2 Ravagers and 2 Queens. This is such a cool maneuver. It really is. And now you gotta be careful here if you are Cure, because this is very far forward. Can actually be hit by Ravagers. So you can tank with a Queen, shoot the double Ravager Biles, and then piss off again, and then rinse and repeat until the end of time. This bunker is still being repaired. This attack is dealing so much indirect damage here. Look at the income at the moment. Look at that income. That's pretty crazy. I love that Reynor is actually going for the tank instead just wants to clear SCVs or just stop them from mining for a little bit. And that seems to be working just fine. I mean, Reynor is significantly outmining his opponent here. Absolutely in a better position at this point. Even in upgrades. Maybe down in infrastructure. Is that something we can say? Doesn't have the greatest creep spread. That's definitely something we can say. 8 more roaches now on the way. We have an Overseer being popped out. Just going in for a scout. Don't forget, this was a triple CC opener, but it has been on 2 base for a very long time. Beautiful start here for Reynor. Really beautiful start. Very much impressed by this build order. I don't think I've ever seen something quite like this. And it was meant to deal with Banshees as well. Let's not forget about the 2 Queens on the left, the 3 Queens on the right. Like, this wasn't the ideal build to fight against. Oh, he's actually gonna go for it. No? Yes, he is. He's gonna take a single tank out here for starters. Now, he can maybe go for another one. As he hits... Was that 3 workers with a single bile? That's impressive. That actually is impressive. It is 150 supply to 84. We have another Rex now on the way. It just feels awkward. 2 more workers going down. Oh, careful Reynor. Careful, Mr. Reynor. Also, careful Cure. You don't actually have that many Marines, do you? Creep spread on Cure side of the map is better than the creep spread on Reynor side of the map, which is kind of funny. Not for Cure, but for us is it. For us it is. Hive on the way. Baneling Nest coming in. I think Reynor's in an unlosable position, to be honest. He's just gonna go for the 2-0 here. There we go. It's gonna hit nothing. Cure just barely fast enough. What a sick build this was, honestly. Theoretically won this game. Purely based on theory. Actually sick. Overlord now moving across the map. We have these 4 Ravagers in the back. Overseer is just gonna pop back in every now and again. I mean, Reynor's gonna max out while his opponent is busy, you know, getting triple-digit supply for the first time. It's not a brilliant look if you ask me. It's the opposite of a brilliant look. We have a 5th base coming in as well. Dude, this is a dominant performance here out of Reynor. This is the eating Cure alive. Cure's now adding barracks. Wants to go into some more tech labs probably. That's not gonna save him. Ooh, this is a nice flank. It's actually gonna get the Queens. It's gonna get the Overlord. It's gonna get the Creep Tumors as well. Sadly, the Ravagers get to escape. Because that could have been something that, if you take that down, would have been quite huge. But now, they're still there, so yikes. 3 Vipers on the way. I mean, having Vipers out while your opponent is sitting at home on 110 supply, that is pretty painful. I think that Reynor can almost just walk in there as well. Like, kill a 3-base Terran, which is something that I've never seen personally, but I'm looking forward to it. 5th base is gonna get cancelled. That's still 4 base versus 3, 44 workers to 71. You have this army chilling over here. Tank has disappeared at this point, by the way. Yeah, it's just gonna go in. It's just gonna go in. Like, how are you gonna fight this army? You simply can't. Oh my god, all these Marines end up dying. Very neat move indeed. Very neat move indeed. Yes, oh, a bio almost connects there. Roaches once again moving in forward. We still have the drops going on. Parasitic Bomb at the same time. Also clearing this medevac. Oops. There you go, little buddy. There you go. And now I think Reynor should just decide to move across the map. I don't think staying home here is going to be the play. It absolutely is not going to be the play. Parasitic Bomb could hit. No, it can't. No, it can't. Like, this game is still over. I love that Cure is trying. I just don't think he understands how dead he is. Like, he is all-inning into someone that's up 40 supply, has better tech, better army quality, more eco. Like, there's a freaking bank here for Reynor. That's how bad this looks. The only thing we're missing is, like, the 80 Banelings. Like, he could have cancelled these upgrades and just gone for, like, 60 Banelings and legit had, like, a Baneling for every single Marine that's out. And instead, we're gonna get a fight. I mean, this is so freaking one-sided. It's not even close. Brilliant fight here. But even with a god-awful fight, this would have been easy, as Reynor's gonna clean it up. And Cure is going to have to back up. It's gonna be down 0-2. It's gonna make this series difficult to win, to be honest. It's not gonna be easy here whatsoever. And dominant performance out of the young Italian. Now, this is the type of move that I absolutely love. After failing in game 1 with this build and not getting that much done, he goes for it again. And I don't know why, but I just love this type of mindset. Because it's basically saying, hey, whatever happened in game number 1, it was me, it was not the build. And just trusting in what you've practiced, I think, is a big thing. Now, of course, if he then loses 0-3 right now, Cure's gonna look like a bit of a clown, but because Reynor technically already beat this build, you know? And it is a tricky build, it is a risky build. It is a build that requires you to do a lot of damage. And usually defenders get better at defending it over time. So you can test someone with this and see like, hey, do they know how to defend properly? And if they don't, you can kind of recycle the build. But here, this is... yeah, it's a wild call. It is a wild call. I'm not gonna lie about it. And this is scary. This is starting pretty scary. He's gonna get a lot of link kills. Evo Chamber block was gonna come in. Reynor with some quick on the feet thinking, but it doesn't really matter because I think all of these Reapers but one are going to survive. And he killed a bunch of links here. 10 links going down. Queen's now out of position in the natural. I think 3 of these can definitely go back in. Ooh, grenade hits there. That shouldn't have happened. Speed is about to finish up though, as we're moving up to 15 links. That's not enough against 7 Reapers. No shot, dude. Third base hasn't started yet. Natural CC is now on the way. We have an eBay coming in. And this is going to be the number of Reapers that we quit at, because we have double reactors, I think, coming in. And we have a tech lab as well that's pumping stuff. So we're going to have to wait and see how these Reapers are still going to be used. Is Cure still planning on jumping back in? Right now, the worker count is 25 to 28. It's 2 base versus 2 base. Neither player... actually, it's 1 base versus 2 base, because this one isn't done yet. It's hard to call these types of games who's ahead, because I'm just not familiar enough with the scenario. I'm not familiar enough with the... like, where each player needs to be, basically. In this type of game. We should have enough money for injects to be spent into drones. Do we have enough real estate to mine from, though, is one of the questions that you want to ask right now. And there the answer seems to be no. So Reynor's going to have a lot of drones, but doesn't have the base to really utilize those drones. Starport is already on the way. Income is a little bit favoring the Zerg at the moment. As this Overlord actually popped in, and I think got a scout on pretty much... I was going to say pretty much everything, but the answer seems to be pretty much nothing. He saw the eBay, that's about it. Overlord's actually going to end up falling as well here. These Marines are doing a good job shooting it down. There you go, buddy. Fall down from the skies. Baneling nest on the way up right now. No third CC quite yet, so it's going to be a 2-base push, at least for the... well, the next few minutes we're going to be on 2 base. I can't imagine him gracefully transitioning into anything but 2 base from here. Doesn't have any tanks though, which is yikesy, I guess. Is most definitely yikesy. Also supply blocked, which is also yikesy. So a double yikes there coming out of me. Tech lab for the tanks now coming out. And here we go. We're going to have our first attack. 45 links, 8 queens. That's a lot of queens, and that's a lot of links. We have 7 Reapers, 20 Marines, and 2 Medevacs that are going to boost across the map. Don't forget, this is going to hit with +1 as well. And that is actually a pretty big deal. It doesn't have the combat shield, keep that in mind, But it does have the +1, and +1's going to be a huge game changer here against Queens. A huge game changer. A pretty bad stim here, by the way. Absolutely atrocious stim. It's going to cost him a lot of energy on these medevacts. Cure is looking for a forward base. Reynor cut workers extremely early here. At 43. Let's see if that's going to pay off. He needs a good fight now as a result, because he's invested massively in this defense. So he needs to get something. He needs to get some bang for his buck. And right now his buck is getting not a whole lot of bang, let me tell you. Not a whole lot of bang. Can we get some grenades out here as well? Can we? Medevac's going to get targeted down, but Cure is going to continue just kiting back. And that +1 upgrade, putting in some serious work with a phenomenal trade here for the Terran player. Queen's now largely off creep. Ooh, missed a transfuse there. The Queen was turning around to cast it, and then her royal friend died. First Evil only now on the way. Armory already coming in. I think Cure is in a phenomenal spot here. He actually seems to be in a phenomenal spot. This is not where Reynor wanted to be at all. After an okay defense against the Reapers, the first drop is really what gets him. The lack of Banelings, fighting completely off creep without the Queens nearby as well. Like, that was pain for these Lings. He thought he could get it, and he kind of needed to because he spent so much money on getting these units out. But yeah, this freaking sucked. He's gonna go for another kind of a drive-by. Don't forget, this is 0-0 units against +1 Marines, and +1 Marines really are quite strong. They really are quite strong. So we have a Baneling Ling attack now. Should probably come from the east here. We go from here. Queen's moving in this general direction. Could also go for a bust. Would be scary though. There's a couple of tanks defensively. Busting always is scary. Probably wants to wait until he has a much bigger army. Until he moves across the map. This position is just so freaking powerful as well. +2 now starts, which I completely agree with. I think that is a brilliant call. +1 just now starting for Reynor, which is pain. That is absolute pain. So it's going to be 1-1 upgrades versus 0-0. And as the army supplies are pretty much even. Yeah, it's not a great look. Alright, it's just not a great look. Reynor now seeing this move out could actually go for the full-on bust. I think I would love that. I would personally love the full-on bust. Just say, hey, go over here. See if we can clear this. Yes, there's 2 depots you need to get through. But maybe you can force your opponent to attack into you rather than you just kind of being a sitting duck. And you know that this position is just going to get stronger and stronger. It's not like this position loses strength over time. Quite the contrary, actually. For now, this army is going to scale much better for Cure. Because Cure is going to get more tanks. It's going to get more Liberators. And Reynor's just going to get more Ling Bane, which, once again, doesn't scale well. If you're not getting these late game units, these Vipers, Infestors, or Ultras, or Hydras with it, like, pure Ling Bane against an army like this is just going to massively struggle. Queen count is healthy. Queen count is good. I'm loving the Burrow upgrade as well. Here comes a flank from that eastern side as Banelings are going to connect in a big way with the Marines. Cure doesn't have to give up the position, but loses a bunch of tanks. I think that was 3 tanks. No, 2 tanks going down there. We still have 1 remaining in the back with 18 kills. Liberators with a lot of kills. The main problem is the Marine count is just too high and the Banelings aren't available. I think that Reynor might have just died. It was a good attempt and probably a fight as good as he could have gotten. As Lynx will take out this 1 tank. Banelings moving forward. It's not gonna work. I am starting to believe. I actually am starting to believe in a pure comeback here. This was a neat game. This was neat execution. The micro could definitely still use some work. There were some marine moves into Banelings that I don't completely approve of, and neither would the Marine Union. Those are dangerous circumstances to work in. Incompetent commanders, but GG gets called, and Cure takes his first map here in his best of 5. Felt like all of that kind of came down to Reynor just making a mistake there in the initial hold and just not having the eco to continue trying to hold afterwards. A little bit of a bad fight as well. This time we're seeing... Well, what are we seeing here? This is a gas first. Into pool. Fast-ish hatch still. No scout. Single set of links though, so not very committed. This smells like speed to me. It does smell like speed, and it's going to be speed. Pulls 1 out of gas, keeps 2 in the gas. So we're gonna start mining some of that extra Vespine. You don't see a road warren go down, so most likely it's going to be for either a baneling nest or a quick layer rush. 2 links. So the goal of these links is very simple. You want to get the Reaper to go back home, basically. And you don't want the Reaper to see what your nasty little plans are. And there's a little bit of a double trick here, basically. So the first trick is going to be when the Reaper goes back home. And then when the Reaper, you know, he clears these links or the 2 Marines are out and Cure is starting to feel safe. That is when speed is about to finish. And then you get the full deny here on the scout on the follow-up. We're still seeing queens. We have 92 gas in the bank currently. There's going to be... Something is going to happen with this, right? Clear as day. Clear as day that something's going to happen. We just don't know what. If you're Cure in this situation, you're left-clicking this thing and you see that a lot of extra gas has been mined. So Vespine geysers, they start with 2250. And you saw, what was it? 2058 left over at this thing. That is weird. That is just weird. I just don't quite understand what Reynor's plan is. Why did he mine that 92 extra gas if he's not really using it? That makes absolutely 0 sense to me. He's just gonna get a standard third base. Okay. Nothing weird then. Just a standard opener. Or well, standard. A weird opener, but an opener nonetheless. Triple CC here as a follow-up for Cure, which is wildly inappropriate in my mind. Sure, playing against such an opener, I find this very risky. Tried to sacrifice the Reaper, wanting to get a scout in, seeing what's going on. Cure played this very risky, and he's gonna get away with it as well. As long as these Hellions don't end up falling. 1 Hellion is gonna die most likely. 2nd Hellion is going to survive. A couple of SCVs will be pulled away from the mineral line. This actually feels kind of okay for Cure still. Like, this is not that big of a deal. A lot of investment into these links, into that fast speed. And it hasn't really paid off. It has not really paid off whatsoever here. Reynor is only on 37 workers. Only now is going to get his 3rd base up. The Banshees are coming out. We have a queen count of 3, 4, and a 5th on the way. I mean, we're working with double, triple orbital commands here. And that means triple mules. And with triple mules, you get a crap ton of extra income. Even if you're only down, well, 4 or 5 workers. Reactors now coming down. Ooh, it's just going to be single Cyclone. Jesus, Cyclone. Single Banshee. Is he actually going to go straight up into... No way. Into tank production? He is. He's deadly afraid of like a follow-up. He is deadly afraid of a follow-up here. Perhaps even for a good reason, because we're seeing triple gas now coming out of Reynor. We have the Overlords that finished up. 1 more on the way. 9 Roaches coming out. This is legitimately the hardest counter that Cure could have played. The hardest counter. Triple CC, single Banshee into tank. I don't think there is... If you would have given Cure a map hack, I'm pretty sure this is how he would have responded. Maybe we would have seen a bunker here in the wall. That's the only thing he would have changed at this point. The only thing. This tank is going to... It's just going to be huge. It's just going to be huge. It's simply going to be massive. This Banshee is just idling in between the 2 bases, waiting for the move out. I just don't see a way for Reynor to get any damage with this particular push. I just can't imagine it. I just absolutely can't imagine it. The only way that Reynor gets damage is if Cure somehow decides that the best thing he can do is to stand outside of his natural base. But I don't think that is what Cure is gonna do. It's the equivalent of trying not to get sick and then running around naked in the rain and not sleeping and forgetting to take your multivitamins. Good lord. Terrible choice. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, this just gets pushed back. Garbage push here coming out of Reynor against the build he was playing. Reynor couldn't have known. I mean, he just picked the build and he went for it and he committed to it hard. And perhaps that's going to be the issue here for him because he is not in a great spot. The one nice thing for Reynor is that Cure is severely supply blocked here. Look at that. 85 out of 85. He's constructing 3 depots at the same time. Now a 4th one gets added into the mix as well. Layer comes in, but there's no Evo chambers yet and 1-1 is halfway done. Infrastructure is looking healthy at 5 barracks. Like this... Supply-wise, this doesn't necessarily look insane for Cure. But if you look at things like infrastructure, at upgrade timing, at the quality of the army, all of those factors, they do add up. And it's going to be real freaking difficult here for Reynor. I think one of the key timings might just be the combat 1-1 timing. I wonder if Cure wants to move out with the tanks though. So if you keep the tanks at home, you're safe against run-bys. It is a more conservative play. If you send the tanks across the map and you have this type of army with it, you might just be capable of getting a W. But you also give your opponent the ability to maybe go for some counterplay. Maybe get a counter-attack in. Maybe clear up the push relatively easily. Oh. Okay, he's going to go for 8 racks. I don't mind that. So that means he's just going to be moving out with pure Marine. Maybe go for a run-by with the Hellions. But most of the time when we see the 8 racks, the Hellions eventually turn into Hellbats and then defend the tanks with the real push-out. There's going to be one hell of a 2-2 timing here. That's all I can tell you for now. Worker count for Reynor is pathetic. He's only at 66. That is not where a Zerg player wants to be. He's nowhere near high. Doesn't have his speed upgrades done yet. The roach speed, the baling speed. Neither of those are there. And now we're even going to get a double drop here into the 4th. We hope that the Reynor moves in defensive position in time to deal with that. Indeed, he is going to. Yeah, Cure will just be forced into picking up. No fort base here for Cure, who is building the Great Wall. 2.0. From the rocks to whatever this is going to be is probably where he wants to go. Next set of drops now being sent out. So just have a big tank set up at home as well. Marauders even being mixed in. Oh, he's adding tech labs here. So this is going to be an 8 racks with a bunch of Marauders out as well, because there's so many freaking roaches. Cool little play. Cure starts by clearing some creep in the middle, while continuing to drop, now heading towards the main base. 76 workers for Reynor. So Reynor does have a worker count that is decent at this point. No hive yet though, although it is on the way. Vipers often are key against this. They really are. And here what I want to see is a run by right into the 3rd base. I think that's also going to be key. We have a couple of Banelings in position already. Cure moves in forward. You love to see it. Can we get a scan? Yes sir, we can get a scan. Ooh. Units here are being picked up by the Ling Bane. Actually, Reynor wants to go for this. I think that might be a mistake. Although 2-2 hasn't finished yet. This is a 1-1 battle. And all the tanks are being killed. Reynor actually with a very good move. Double drop, however, does reach the 3rd base. Kills a couple of workers. Clears both of these extractors as well. But Reynor won a lot of time. He pretty much reset the tank count. He killed 4 of them in total. And the supply is pretty much even. I'm still not loving the spot here for our Zerg player. But I think overall it was going in the right direction. This drop, however, it's not going in the right direction anymore. Just killing a lot of drones, killing a lot of links, clearing that queen as well. Yes, one medevac goes down, but that's just not going to be good enough. It really is not. 2-2 has finished up as well at this moment. That means we're going to be fighting with a 2 upgrade deficit on Reynor's side. Tanks are not sieged up quite yet. Marine Marauder is going to get microed back too. Can we get a pickup on these tanks? Yes, we can. Banshee is still alive in the air. Could turn around and start shooting. Expected a couple of biles to go down, but that's not what's happening. 8 Marine drop heading back into the main base. Ooh, he's going to siege up here. Still has that upgrade lead, of course. The Banshee's not actually shooting. He's just in the same group as the Marine Marauder. This tank ends up surviving with just 3 HP as these 8 Marines with the superior upgrade are absolutely knocking down these roaches and links in the opponent's main base. And I think Cure might have just done it. I think he might have just tied up the series. Forced out the ace match here because he's up 50 supply. He's now getting the +3. I wouldn't even mind seeing a 4th command center coming down at this point. You can send a drop towards the top right, or you can just continue pushing forward in one big ball. And that's what he's going to do. Reynor tries to make a final stand, but GG gets called as Cure ties it up. This time around we see, once again, a triple Rex Reaper opener coming out of Cure. Just like in game number 1, just like in game number 3. He's going for the age-old saying, never change a winning team. Also, never change a losing team, because the first time he played it, he lost with it. So just never change the team, really, is what he's going for. This is an okay map for it, but so far the damage has been 3 links versus 1 Reaper. Not a great start, really. Not a great start. Yes, there's no third base yet, but it is a 1 base attack. So I'm expecting more than canceling someone's third base when you're just on 1 base yourself, you know? This is simply not good enough. It's these links. Oh, they're hiding. Oh, they're hiding. They're sneaking in the corner. Yes, Cure is now going to spot them. He is going to see them. And he should be quick to respond. He's going to lose 2 Reaper instantly. So he hits himself right in the face with a grenade as well. Not great. This micro has really been pretty subpar. I'm not going to lie. This micro has been pretty subpar. Resources lost is even at this moment. Income is also surprisingly even. You can jump up here, and you should know that. You can jump up here. You know the queens are there. It's going to lose every single Reaper right now. Look at that. Resources lost 900 to 575. Third hatch goes down as the natural of the opponent finishes up. But an orbital command will still need to be constructed before worker production can start. I've mentioned it before in this series, but one of the main issues you have as a Zerg player is that you can get the drones, but you don't have the mineral patches to saturate. And that's what we're going to be seeing here. We're going to be seeing a complete lack of saturation on these mineral patches. And that actually could be a pretty severe issue. Factories going up in the main base. This hatch. We get a third CC with this. No, it's just going to be a 2-1-1. Or well, a 3-1-1 actually. With the +1. So similar to what we've seen before. And this time we're seeing a Baneling Nest. Whereas last time Reynor decided to go for a lower worker count. Very, very high link count. And then going for the surround. Cure just won that fight with the +1 Marines. This time it seems like Reynor wants to kind of shake it up a little bit. Get some Banelings in there. A lot of queens. The problem with a lot of queens, so the queen is great in the first 6... Okay, no, let me rephrase. I think the queen is brilliant in the first 5 minutes of the game. The queen is great from minute 5 to minute 7. And then the queen is good from minute 7 till minute 1 hour and 38. You know, it's a good unit to have all around. But if you're fighting against someone that has a timing with +1 and combat shield, you have to be really careful if your plan is to rely solely on queens. And the reason for that is because queens, they're great if there's no upgrades at all and you have no combat shield. But the moment +1 hits, they're just not quite as good if they don't have the carapace upgrade yet. And we saw that last time as well. They're just not as powerful. Next 2 medevacts now coming in forward. And when I say the next 2, I mean the first 2 really. It's going to be a crap ton of Marines. And that's also weird about this push, is that a lot of Zerg players, they think that the first 2 medevacts are going to hit with, well, like 16 Marines, because that's what fits inside these medevacts. But that's not what Cure is doing. Cure is going to be hitting with, what was that, 26 Marines here? 26 Marines with +1. Combat shield isn't done yet, but the +1 is. Here comes a surround. No, here doesn't come a surround. Almost an attempt at a surround. And this is all that Reynor needed to do. He just needed to show that he had enough. He needed to show that he had the Banelings, the ability to potentially surround. And if you go too deep with a lot of Marines onto creep, and you don't have the, you know, you have only 2 medevacts for 26 Marines, you're going to lose a lot of Marines. So Cure, afraid of committing here to the play. Combat shield has now finished up. He probably wants to go another time. Needs to be so darn careful though. He's going to get a cancel on this fort base. That's a good start. Carapace on the way now for Reynor. It is 46 to 56 workers. Liberator coming out. Tanks coming out. Ooh, is this a fight that Reynor can take? I am not so sure. Reynor says yes. What does the result of this fight say? Probably was fine. I was okay with this, I think. Reynor did, maybe did lose a little bit more. And the tanks stay alive, but at least you got a trade. At least you got a trade, and you should be out mining by a significant amount. Yeah, we see that. 1,800 minerals to 2,600. So your trades can be not super favorable, and it is fine. It really is fine. Let's take a look at these tank positions. This is a weird tank position, really far forward. I guess he wasn't aware of the fact that there were a lot of links there. It does suck. There's still a tank here in this medevac. What a blunder out of Cure, who went for a 3-tank attack, but one of these tanks was chilling in the medevac. That is not quite what you wanted to be doing, my dear friend. As the fight will continue, the push is not yet coming to an end. Do we have an armory with this? So far, every single time he has built that armory, so he can continue the upgrades. This is one hell of an all-in, don't get me wrong, but I feel like after... This is the third time we see it, right? Yeah. Like the same opener into the same all-in. You're giving your opponent a lot of time to mentally respond. You have to figure out what is best. I would have loved if there was a switch up here in the last game. You know, make it look like it's a 2-base all-in. And then have a proxy... No, that sucks, but... You know, something weird. Because Reynor is defending in a very specific way here. Look at that. Single Evo. Just kind of trickling in the upgrade. 55 drones. Very low on gas overall. We're on 3 gases that are mining right now. Like, personally, I look at the queen count too. Like, if there is a third CC mining, sorry, honestly, I think a proxy base at the highest level of play is underrated. If the players are equally skilled. Too often we see proxy bases against very high level players. But then the player doing the proxy base is lower level, so then it looks bad. So the win rate of the proxy base is low because high level players don't tend to do it very much. I think it's actually an underrated strategy. I mean, Reynor's just not looking for it. You have a freaking base over here, you're banging it out. If you get up to 60 workers, you just win the game. You're even workers with a Zerg? Hell yeah. Let's go. Creep is pathetic. Either way, game is actually still going on, so let's focus on that. +2 halfway done. More Liberators coming in. I think Reynor probably is considering going in here, which I kind of understand. I wonder what happens if both players max out. Like, whose max out is actually stronger here? Banelings are very good in a max out. Tanks and Lips are also pretty freaking powerful in a max out, though. Not having any Vipers to deal with high tank counts, that can suck. Not having any serious anti-air to deal with these Liberators. Like, Queens are good, but off creep, they're no bueno. Absolutely not. Ooh. Secure now pushing out a little bit with... He needs this army to join up, obviously, right? It's key. It really is key. See if we can target down these Banes. Oh, he does get nice shots there with those tanks onto the Banes. He's gonna lose just a single tank. That was a brilliant trade here for him. Medeffects are fairly low. Oh, that was a brilliant trade here for him. Scans for any potential Baneling burrows. Love that. And here comes the fight. Reynor does not want to fight against the reinforcements as well. And as a result, he's going to run in. High Baneling count. Lots of Marines in the back still. This tank is sieged up. Liberator's not falling. And it's starting to look a lot like Christmas for Cure. Because he still has a lot of these Liberators around. Still wanting to push on creep, which I'm not necessarily a fan of. The thing is that every time they shoot, they're just killing a Ling, right? Or they're killing a Baneling. So they get like 3-4 volleys. Like these 4 volleys. You're looking at 24 units down the drain. That is a big deal. Ooh, he's gonna give up his tanks. That is also a big deal. That was a bad deal. A big deal, but a bad one. And now the Queens are just moving forward. There's still 15 Queens here, of course. Leaving these tanks undefended. A blunder. A prime blunder here out of Cure. Absolutely. I've seen a lot of blunders in my time, and that was definitely one. If you've seen a lot of blunders, you can also identify them easily. I'm great at identifying it. That was one. That's a blunder. In the moment, I bet it felt good. Like, if he gets the kill here on this base, and Reynor doesn't have the balls to go towards it, I mean, Cure is banging it out, you know? It's going to be 2 base versus 3 base. You're flying your your natural over to the 3rd base location. It's not bad. But now in this situation, where you lose all your tanks, you lose your position, the queen count is high enough to deal with the Lips, yeah, you feel like a little bit of a loser. And I think that is really what Cure feels like right now. He's adding in 2 more barracks. He's going to get the +3 attack. I love that. I love that he didn't go for +2 armor. Because that would have definitely been a mistake. You don't give a crap about the armor of these Marines. Let's face facts. Beautiful little burrow here. You have a burrow over here too. Lots of burrows. Little burrow over here. Yeah, dude, he's pooping himself. He's afraid of all these burrows. I wonder how much money has been used scanning for burrowed Banelings. I think this is like the 3rd scan that I'm seeing. That's 600 minerals right there. That the mule would have gathered. No matter how many SCVs you have mining. That's an entire CC. He could be on 3 bases right now. He still could be on 3 bases because he's floating a bit of money. So 6 Marines are hanging around. Hive on the way. Reynor probably should have done it a little bit faster, but he didn't. It's the only way that I really see him lose this game at this point is going to be dying to another max out. Oh, it's actually going to get a third base here for Cure now. Double burrows again. I'm not sure about burrowing them on the edge of creep. I feel like this is always going to get hit by a scan. I love these. Oh, these. These need to move forward. Like as your creep pushes up, you have to push those up as well. It's a fact of life, absolutely. Oh, here we go. Mainly just moving in first. Cure's not paying attention. That's very sloppy. This was a skill check here. This was an absolute skill check, and Cure failed it. I wish that Cure went for an entertainment check to see if people are still entertained, because we haven't seen any action in this game for like 3 or 4 minutes at this point. Both of them just sitting back. I understand it out of Reynor. Reynor doesn't need to do anything before the Vipers are out. Cure here finishes his third base. He's adding in 3 more barracks. So he's gonna now go for like an 8 Rex, I guess. Adding in the tech labs. I'm having a very difficult time seeing how this is gonna end well for Cure. A very difficult time. The Baneling count is just gonna be very high. The Viper count is gonna be at 2 or 3. It's gonna be nice upgrades as well. And on top of that, Reynor also isn't droning up to like 95, you know? So it's not like the max out for Cure is going to be 150 supply and Reynor is going to be at like 100 supply. And then also having like 20 supply in Queens. No. I mean, oh my god, he does have a lot of supply in Queens though. That actually does suck. Like if he had 90 supply here, or like 90 drone supply, and then also 17 Queens, which is another 34 supply, he actually would have like 80 actual supply of units, which I don't think would have been enough. Now I have double drops coming out, which is kind of nice because it might spot something here. These guys also have +3 attack, which is actually kind of a big deal. Oh, this is a rough engagement here for Reynor. It's a mine in the back. It's not going to connect with anything. This felt like a decent-ish trade, but the top one is going to get cleaned. And also, Reynor can afford any trade, really, at this point, because he's rich. He's going to get some Hydras in the mix soon. Baneling count is still 34. New CC comes in. Hey, we need gases. If you want to... You can't play a macro game off of this. I just don't think it's possible. Not at this position. And I'm actually kind of disappointed here in Reynor that he isn't making Cure pay a bit more for the crimes he's committed in the early game. Like, I feel like, yeah, busting this planetary is the least that he can do. You know, that's the bare minimum. He owes that to the fans. And every single time that fort base goes down, he should be busting it. He should be right there, busting it. Boom. Bye-bye. Get out, son. Hey, the queen count is phenomenal. You're never gonna get any damage here. It's like clearing 3 larvae. Nice, good job. I much prefer having these lips in the main army, to be honest. Oh, these mines, they don't even have the drilling claws yet. That means they don't remain invisible. They're just gonna get picked off for free. So yeah, this is a bit of a bummer. It actually was a really good series. This was a very, very powerful series, but now we have Cure who's pretending to not all in, but he is all in. Like he's on 3 bases against someone that's gonna be on 6. There's a gold base in play as well. And we have adrenal glands. We have the +3 carapace soon. Hey, Reynor doesn't even need these links. He can forget about these. Because he has like 75 banes. He has 50 banes. Now the links do run in because he won't forget about them. He could have, but he won't. Tanks are gonna get taken out. Every single SCV will end up falling. And at this point, Cure is just as all in as they get. He needs to go right here, right now. And I just don't think he can do it. I mean, it's Reynor that even pulls the trigger here. He's gonna clear a lot of Marauders, a lot of other dudes. And he can just remax because he has the larva available. He has the money available. Cure is still actually at 91 army supply though. That is surprising. But it shouldn't really be enough. More mines now moving forward. Parasitic bombs are gonna connect, and that means adios to that good medevac. As Reynor spends all of his cash, and slowly but surely is closing in on that maxed out supply. Meanwhile, Cure struggling to get to 100. And you have rich and you have poor. And right now Reynor is rich and Cure is poor. That is most likely gonna be it. I feel like we've just been watching the longest death animation here for Cure that I've seen in my entire life. This is a very, very long death animation. Cure doesn't believe it either. Oh no. I still have pure marine without medevacs against your hydras. Maybe I can go. No, you can't. Get on out of here, son. Pew. Link's now breaching the main base as well and scans that there's like a 17th base. Okay, if you have 17 bases, I'll leave. That's going to be it. Reynor wins the series 3-2. And yeah, good series. Last game lasted a little bit too long, but that's okay. You can't have it all in life. Well, you can if you subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.